Ladies and gentlemen, Tesla stock is breaking out today, up 4%. And trust me, you do not want to miss why this is actually happening, because we have big news, like a lot of it. Tesla stock hit the high today at $375.41 per share. As I've said here on this channel yesterday and really over the past 2 or 3 days now, above this trend line, you really look good from a technical basis, and that's why I've been forecasting Tesla over $400 per share by the end of this year, start 2025. And after today, that looks even more probable. So some of the biggest news today causing this boost in Tesla stock is Bank of America's analyst John Murphy that raised his Tesla price target to $400 per share from $350 per share while maintaining a buy rating. He says Optimus is real and development is poised to accelerate. And it's really not the price target boost, in my personal opinion. I think most of the rally today in Tesla is due to the commentary that Bank of America highlights. This article here says, in a note to clients Thursday, analyst John Murphy highlighted his optimism following a recent visit to Tesla's Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. Quote, "The trip gave us increased confidence that Tesla is well positioned to grow in 2025 and beyond," Murphy said, citing discussions with investor relations, a factory tour, and test drives that showcased Tesla's technological advancements. Tesla's full self-driving technology stood out during the test drive at Gigafactory Austin, with vehicles demonstrating significant improvements. John Murphy says, quote, "Tesla noted that soon its FSD will require an intervention only once every 10,000 miles, Murphy said. To put this into perspective, that would be roughly one intervention per year. The average driver drives around 10,000 miles per year. So only one intervention per year. He emphasized that the company's autonomous technology is nearing the safety level required to launch a monitored robotaxi service. For comparison, Google's Waymo initiated its robotaxi operations after achieving one intervention every 17,000 miles. Quote, "A milestone Tesla believes it could achieve shortly with its growing AI compute." Murphy highlighted Tesla's growing AI infrastructure, which includes 50,000 active NVIDIA H100 chips as of October. This positions the company to potentially launch its robotaxi service by 2025. He also says that Tesla's humanoid robot Optimus is already making strides in automation. Though Optimus currently accounts for just a single-digit percentage of Tesla's AI compute power, Murphy expects this to increase as the robotaxi program stabilizes, accelerating Optimus development. He says with more robots in use, training will accelerate, he said, adding that mass production in 2026 and beyond could drive down cost and open new growth avenues for Tesla. Murphy also indicated Tesla may consider raising capital to support its investments in Optimus, robotaxis, and artificial intelligence. At its current valuation, Tesla could raise $50 billion or more through an equity raise at a relatively modest 4 to 5% dilution to shareholders. Tesla has historically been able to raise capital at an extremely low cost compared to its peers. He also points out a lower cost EV and expanding total addressable market, that Tesla plans to launch a lower cost EV in the first half of 2025, targeting a price point below $30,000, which includes the $7,500 federal EV tax credit. Murphy said this vehicle could expand Tesla's total addressable market with cost savings achieved through a number of areas such as decontenting, making the motor more efficient, and thereby enabling a smaller battery and changing the interior. So it appears like, for the first time ever, a major Wall Street analyst and bank, for that matter, is acknowledging Optimus and the potential that will have to drive growth for the long term. It's not just robotaxi, it's not just new models for Tesla, it's Optimus too. And a lot of people don't even think about Optimus. And Bank of America says, you need to start thinking about Optimus. Long term, that's going to be huge for Tesla, with mass production starting in 2026. And again, this kind of is along the lines of what I've been saying on this channel for the past couple of weeks now, that Wall Street, they're no longer focused on 2024. To a large extent, even this current quarter that we're in, whatever delivery number we get, whatever earnings we get, doesn't matter as much. It's all about 2025 and even 2026. Obviously, the more the Fed cuts rates, the more we look out into the future, right? If the Fed cuts rates more next year, you're going to pay more attention to 2026 and 2027. That's why Tesla was at all-time highs in 2020, because rates were really low. The cost of capital was low. There was no other place to invest your money, and people widen their time horizons. Either way, people are likely going to continue to position into Tesla into year end because 2025 holds so much promise. And that is why I've been calling for Tesla to be at all-time highs above $400 per share by the end of this month. By the end of December, you're going to be, in my opinion, at all-time highs. Now, we will talk about this a little bit more in the next video, what I am doing with my Tesla position, how I am positioning for what I think is going to be a really good 2025, some of the risk factors at this point with Tesla, because yes, the more the stock goes up, the more it is being priced for relative perfection. I do think there's going to be a lot of upside surprises overall, but I think you guys should probably hear what I'm doing with my Tesla position. We'll talk about that in the next video, but first, we have a lot more breaking news for Tesla stock today. Check this out. Elon Musk's xAI plans to expand its Colossus supercomputer in Memphis to house 1 million plus GPUs. The Greater Memphis Chamber said today, Colossus was already the largest supercomputer in the world with 100,000 GPUs. Now Elon is about to spend tens of billions to make it 10 times bigger. Yeah, Elon's not just, shooting for the fences here. He's shooting for the next town with this one. Elon wants xAI to be the AI company, and it looks like he's gonna do it. Now, I will also mention that xAI making progress like this, creating such a massive compute center, translates pretty well into Tesla. Now, I'm not going to speculate to exactly the extent of that, but as Tesla's xAI or Elon's xAI makes more progress on AI, that's going to be beneficial for Tesla as well. Perhaps they find a better way to train FSD models, or perhaps they work around some quirks with Optimus. Something along those lines is very theoretically possible with an accelerating xAI. Tesla's Bitcoin holdings are now worth an estimated $1.2 billion after the recent bull run, up from $450 million earlier this year, with Tesla that is estimated to have a 200% return on its Bitcoin since buying it. Australia has sold a record 100,000 EVs so far in 2024, compared to 98,400 in all of 2023. And we are seeing via Joe Tetmeyer over here on X a crap ton of castings just sitting in one of the parking lots in Giga, Texas, and it looks like they're Cybertruck castings. It's really hard to tell from this vantage point, but it does look like they're ramping up for increased demand and increased production of, again, what looks like Cybertrucks, but could be other Tesla products as well. Tesla's based EV charging plug will officially be the federal EV charging standard, acting Federal Highway Administrator Kristen White just said. Nissan Ariya EV drivers in North America will get access to nearly 18,000 Tesla superchargers on December 10th. Nissan is selling a $235 adapter to convert to Tesla's charging standard. Now, what's interesting about this is Nissan only has like 12 months in operations left, unless a miracle happens for them. So I find this interesting that they're still pursuing, better EV policies for their customers when their business is probably not going to survive. Eric E. Tesla on X, the lead engineer for Tesla's Cybercab, says it will have roughly 50% fewer parts overall than the Model 3. Additionally, the Cybercab's body structure will have 60% fewer components compared to the Model Y. So in theory, it's going to be a lot cheaper to produce the Cybercab. TAG Energy will soon start construction on the largest battery energy storage system project in France, a $117 million Tesla Megapack system, 240 megawatt hours, 240 megawatts, 480 megawatt hours. Tesla is providing both BESS and EPC services. And take this next piece of news as you will, but Jim Cramer said this about Tesla today. Quote, "I think it goes much higher. I think it probably goes to 500. I see nothing in between. The president-elect is telling you Tesla is going much higher." And even though I agree with Jim Cramer here, I actually think Tesla could well exceed that next year. I think Tesla could be a $900+ stock next year with a pretty reasonable argument between $600 and $800 for next year. Some people say Jim Cramer, talking positively about a stock is a negative short-term omen, so be on the lookout for that. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will be meeting with members of Congress today on Capitol Hill. Tesla's official X account posted this, that Tesla batteries are designed for over 200,000 miles of driving. It is also being reported that Waymo says they are launching in Miami in 2026. Now, I think this is massive news for Tesla. As I've said on this channel before, okay, on Tesla's last earnings, Elon gave us guidance for the Robotaxi network to launch in California and Texas. This was presumably no matter who won the White House. Now that we're facing deregulation, better, full self-driving policies, I've upped that between 2 and 8 states, okay? Florida was one of them. And if Florida is now going to allow Waymo to operate in Miami in 2026, they could let Tesla start operations next year. Because obviously Waymo has to map the, city out and all of that, and it takes some time. If Tesla does not need to do that, from a regulatory standpoint, Tesla could be launching in Florida next year as well. You could have California, Texas, Florida, I think, add New York to this, add Arizona to this, add Nevada to this, add potentially Washington to this, maybe Oregon. You could be looking at, 2 to 8 states next year instead of 2 states being the guidance, okay? That's a big upside surprise that could be coming. Marquise Brownlee is already making another video about Tesla's FSD supervised, and hopefully he's using FSD v13. But this is pretty interesting because he has 6.2 million followers on X, but he has one of the largest YouTube accounts ever, and his videos get, tens of millions of views most of the time, right? Anywhere from 2 to 10 million views is not uncommon. So that is a lot of additional publicity that FSD could soon be getting. In other non-Tesla news, we did have U.S. jobless claims that rose to 224,000. The estimate was 215,000. Previous week was 215,000. And inevitably, at some point, you're going to miss and you're going to come in a little bit higher. And that's what seems like happened today. You came in, 9,000 higher than what we were expecting. That's not a big deal, but it is having quite a large impact on some of your certain sectors of our markets today, like small caps. Russell 2000 is really underperforming. Russell 2000 is down 0.72%. NASDAQ marginally red, down 0.1%. S&P down 0.1%. The Dow is down around 0.5%. And part of that is the initial jobless claims. Part of it has to do with the jobs report that we will be getting out tomorrow. And we'll talk about that more in the next video because that's going to be a critical catalyst for our markets. And what's actually interesting is 10-year treasury yields are basically unchanged today, but yet you are getting this big fall in the Russell. So I think there's some growth concerns right before the jobs report that comes out tomorrow. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, option activity in Tesla stock today is incredibly bullish from hedge funds and institutions. You have 311 different trades totaling $228 million with a positive order value of 89%. That is exceptionally bullish. You have volume today of 65.5% calls and volume today of 34.46% puts. Anytime you have 2 times more calls trading hands than puts, that is a freaking good day for Tesla option activity. Okay, so people are definitely pretty bullish on Tesla today. Now, taking a look at the short position in Tesla, 2.73% short interest of free float, $27.31 billion currently sold short, totaling 76.31 million shares. If you take a look at what's happening today as far as the shares that are being returned, you do have a borrowed change of negative 1.26 million. So you are seeing about 1.26 million shares on net that are being covered on today. That's also a good sign, as shorts are covering at multi-year highs. That means they just don't want to be in these short positions in Tesla anymore. Sentiment on the SPY today, which, if you don't know, is the ETF for the SPX, the S&P 500. Yesterday was bullish at 70. Today is neutral at 49. If we take a look at sentiment for Tesla today, which is really what I like to do, StockTwits is a great sentiment barometer for retail investors. It doesn't tell you much about hedge funds or institutions because they're not getting on here and sharing their opinions on StockTwits, but retail investors are. So sentiment today, get this, is extremely bullish. Yesterday, it was neutral at 47. That's a massive jump in sentiment. Message volume today is high at 61. Yesterday was normal at 49. Participation ratio today is high at 55. So we're seeing some very encouraging numbers over here for retail investor sentiment on StockTwits. Now, let's take a look at Google Trends data for Tesla products. If this is kind of the best way that we can look at, what day-to-day deliveries may be looking like for Tesla. And trends are actually falling. Now, they're still overall at healthy levels. Model Y at 47, Cybertruck at 60, Model 3 at 39, Model S at 16, and the Model X at 11. This is looking at worldwide, which, if we're thinking about worldwide, like who uses Google, it's like North America, Europe, it's not China, so you're not getting any indication from the China market, and that's why we get vehicle insurance registration numbers out of China. So this really just looks at everywhere else, pretty much besides China. Now, if we look at specifically the United States, still trends are falling a little bit, but overall pretty good. Cybertruck at 56, Model Y at 34, Model 3 at 26, Model S at 11, Model X at 10. This Google Trends data is not necessarily boosting my confidence that Q4 is going to be as strong as we think it is, but it's not a major warning flag as of yet. We still have, almost the whole month of December to get through, and that tends to be one of the strongest months for Tesla. I'm confident Q4 will at least meet expectations, but I don't think it's really going to matter even too much as we head into 2025. Slight miss, slight B. I don't think it's going to make or break Tesla. I think robotaxis and FSD and all that will be much more important in 2025. Now, if we take a look at CNN's Fear and Greed Index, it's coming in today at 57, unchanged from yesterday. So still barely in greed, but you're almost in neutral. So you've reset quite a bit as far as your bullish expectations. We talked about this with the AI Investor Sentiment Survey as well. Weird things are going on here, guys. So as of November 27th, we were at the lowest level of bullish investors that we had seen in over a year. And now you're back up to some of the highest levels we've seen in almost a year, as far as the survey that came out just yesterday. Bullish investors at 48.3%, neutral investors at 21.0%, and bearish investors at 30.7%. The percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average is also falling a bit today, down to 62.38%, down 2.23%. So definitely not a super strong market today, which really does, again, just highlight the exceptional performance that you are seeing out of Tesla over the last couple of days. Now, from a technical perspective, Tesla's not even overbought on the RSI. The RSI is 69.05. So you're not even overbought on the RSI yet. The MACD looks to almost be going positive. MACD line is 23.02. Signal line is 23.18. So if we get above that signal line, that's going to be a really good short-term indicator that you're probably going higher here. Okay, and the fact that we're above this trend line, I mean, this looks like a picture perfect breakout. Question is, how high do we go? I mean, we could run quite a bit here, depending on what that jobs report is tomorrow. If it really enforces the economy's doing okay, but the Fed still needs to cut rates, that's the best case scenario. But we will talk about this and much more in the next video, so stay tuned to the channel for that one, coming out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to come join the trading community, check out that link down below in the description of this video. Or just because it's free 99, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with future videos that do come out, in the hopes it helps you make more money and be more informed overall. I think that's kind of a win-win across the board. So with that said, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.